Hi, hello, welcome back to Joe Presents. Come and learn English with the experts. In this video we are going to be talking about passive voice and scientific report text. This video lesson is supported by Denpasar English Teacher Association. English material for senior high school. Year 11, in the Emergency Curriculum 2022 and 2023. Take your time and enjoy.
Mr. J, what are we going to talk about for today?
Ms. Angrini, I think we are going to talk about scientific report text.
That's interesting, Mr. J.
Yes, Mr. Albert.
Mr. J, can you tell us more about scientific text?
Well, Mr. Samadi, a scientific text is a factual writing about scientific subject matter. This kind of writing reports scientific observations and result in a manner governed by scientific convention. Reports and explanations belong to scientific texts. Both types of text use simple present tense, and they also use passive voice.
Excuse me, Mr. J, what do you mean by this kind of writing reports scientific observations and result in a manner governed by scientific convention? Yes, Mr. J, do you mean the writer of this scientific text has to make a kind of research?
Exactly, Mr. Albert. The writer of the scientific text usually make a read first before writing.
Well, I understand now, Mr. J. A research must be conducted before writing the scientific text.
Mr. J, you have said previously that report and explanation belong to scientific text. And you also said that both texts are written in present tense and passive voice. Can you explain us more about it?
Yes, Ms. Angriani, I think Mr. Samadi and Mr. Albert have some idea to tell us.
Well, in my mind, report and explanation are the example of scientific text. The writer of these two texts usually make research before writing the text.
Thank you, Mr. Samadi. How about you, Mr. Albert?
Well, I think the tenses used in the two texts are simple present. And passive voice is used in those tenses. Why? Because 1. We don't know the doer, the actor. 2. We think that the doer or the actor is not important. 3. We want to hide the doer or the actor. Its purpose is to make the sentence more polite.
Thank you, Mr. Albert.
Yes, Mr. Albert, but I want to know more about report text.
Report is a text which presents information about something, as it is.
And it is as a result of systematic observation and analyses.
Well, I have a better understanding now. Thank you, Mr. Albert and Mr. Samadi.
Well, from the explanation of Mr. Albert and Mr. Samadi, we may conclude that 1. The writer of the scientific text must conduct a research before writing. 2. The scientific text can be in form of report or explanation. 3. The tenses used in the scientific text are mostly present tense. And 4. The text use passive voice.
Mr. J, if the tenses used in the scientific text in form of report are mostly present tense and it uses passive voice, then we have to discuss more about passive voice in present tense.
Not only that, Mr. Samadi. I think we also have to see the social function of a report text.
Well, Mr. Samadi, if we talk about simple present then the verbs used in the predicates are verb 1, then the to be used in passive voice are am, is, or are followed by V3. Why? Because the basic pattern of passive voice to be plus V3.
And the social function of a report text is to present information about something generally. It generally describes the way things are with reference to a range of natural, man-made and social phenomenon in our environment, such as mammals, the planets, rocks, plants, countries of region, cultures, transportations, and so on.
I think we must not forget the language feature and the generic structure of report text.
And the generic structure of the report text is title, general classification and description. Title. A title of a report text indicates the topic of the text and it is a very general thing. General classification. A general classification is a part that state classification of general aspect of things, such as animals, public places, plants, etc. It will be discussed in general. Description. This part gives describing of the things which will be discussed in detail, in terms of parts, and their function, qualities, habits and behavior.
Language feature of report text. 1. Focus on generic participant. A report text always introduces group or general aspect and focus on general nouns, such as platypus, bees, etc. 2. A report text uses relating verb and action verb, for example, relating verb, reptiles or scaly animal, etc. Action verb, birds fly in the sky, etc. 3. A report text uses of simple present tense, for example, platypus lives in streams, male platypus does not need any burrow, etc. 4. The language used in a report text is a scientific language, for example, water contains oxygen and hydrogen, etc. 5. A report text uses conditionals and logical connectives, such as, but, in other hand, etc.
Wonderful, Mr. Samadi, Mr. Albert and Ms. Angriani. I think we have spent a long time in detail discussing about scientific text, especially report text. I hope this conversation can help our students understand better about report text. I think we should analyze some sample report text for our students, but because of the limitation of time we can do it in the next video. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.